Travell Hill has a detention hearing in St. Louis federal courts. Chicago singer Annmarie arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And information on YouTuber BLove's sister and her murder. On the Case starts right now. Welcome back, everyone, and if you're new here, I'm Jay So Extra. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell to get updates on current cases. Today's video is going to cover 3 top stories, but first, I want to tell you about an organization I'm supporting called Sewing to Sew. Sewing to Sew is a nonprofit that offers free sewing and knitting classes to teenagers and senior citizens in low-poverty neighborhoods. Neighborhoods that don't have after-school programs for students or daily programs for older persons. Sewing to Sew provides a socially distant environment for people to learn, interact, and engage with other members of the community. For the month of December, I've pledged to donate $100 to Sewing to Sew, but I'm not going to ask that of all of you. I am going to ask that you donate $5 to the organization by clicking the Tillify link in the description below. For every $5 that you donate, I'll donate an additional $1. If you decide to donate to Sewing to Sew by clicking the Tillify link in the description below, put in your comments hashtag S2S5 so that I know that you donated your $5 so that I can donate my $1 to match you. As some of you may know, in 2019 and in 2020, funding was cut for programs such as these. So Sewing to Sew really relies on the kindness and the donations of people like you and me in order to acquire sewing machines, utensils, tools like needles and thread, and fabric in order to provide these programs free of charge to members of the community. Again, you can donate to Sewing to Sew by clicking the Tillify link in the description below. Now for today's stories. We begin today's video with an update on the murder for hire case involving Sweetie Pie's Tim Norman, a woman from Memphis named Terica Ellis, a St. Louis local named Wael Yagnam, and a new conspirator named Travell Hill. On December 3rd, Judge Nanette Baker ordered a pretrial hearing with all the co-defendants and their lawyers to go over all of the evidence. At that time, the judge ordered a continuance of 90 days in order for the attorneys to have more time to look over all of the evidence, which is important because now they have a 4th co-conspirator in this case. When the pretrial date was first set back in September, Travell Hill was not indicted in this case. But since then, we have a new conspirator, a new attorney, and now more evidence that needs to be reviewed, which is why Tim Norman's attorney requested a continuance of 90 days in order for them to look over the new evidence involving Travell Hill. If you're unsure as to who Travell Hill is, in my previous video, I mentioned that Travell Hill was the new conspirator involved in this murder for hire case, and he is suspected to be the actual shooter. There were recordings of Travell speaking to his brother in jail, and those phone calls were recorded. And in those phone calls, Travell confessed that Tim had paid him $5,000 to kill his nephew, Andre. On Tuesday, December 8th, Travell Hill had a detention hearing scheduled in federal court here in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, I went to the courthouse because on the website, the docket stated that Travell Hill was actually going to have his detention hearing in front of Judge Nanette Baker at 1:30 p.m. in the courtroom at the courthouse. But once I arrived to the courthouse, the docket changed. At that point, it was listed that his new judge presiding over the detention hearing would be a Judge Welby, and that would be at 1:30 in the courtroom. Then, after that, it was changed from a live hearing in the courtroom to a Zoom meeting. And by the time I logged into the Zoom meeting was over. After the hearing ended, I called the court clerk to get some information on what transpired during the hearing. The court clerk then told me that the hearing was scheduled at 1:30 via Zoom, and at that time, Travell Hill waived his right to a detention hearing. Now, just to recap, Tim Norman had a detention hearing back in October, November. His lawyer argued that Tim was a great candidate for bond because he had 2 small children that he needed to take care of, and also he was running multiple businesses that needed his presence in order to continue. His lawyer then argued that Tim would be working in the family business and wouldn't be a flight risk. He would be wearing an ankle monitor, and he would be staying in the home of his mother, Robbie Montgomery. After hearing that, Judge Nanette Baker denied bond and Tim was remanded into federal custody. Terica Ellis also had a detention hearing. Her lawyer argued that she was a good candidate for bond or bail because she had a small child at home under the age of 5 who suffered from sickle cell anemia. Terica's lawyer also argued that Terica's daughter required 24-hour care and that Terica was the only one who could comfort her daughter and administer the medication that she would need when she had a sickle cell flare-up. Judge Nanette Baker denied bond and bail for Terica, and at that point, Terica broke down in the courtroom. Wael Yagnam, the third conspirator in the case, who is accused of committing mail or wire fraud, who was the insurance agent that Tim went through to take out a policy on Andre, was granted bail during his detention hearing. In addition to receiving bond, Wael had to surrender his passport to decrease the chance of him being a flight risk. If you remember, Wael is actually from Jerusalem, and there is a chance that he still has family ties there. So at this moment, Tim Norman, Terica Ellis, and Travell Hill have been remanded and are detained in federal custody, and currently Wael Yagnam is out on bail in St. Louis. Singer and songwriter Annmarie, legal name Joanne Marie Slater of Chicago, Illinois, is accused and has been arrested of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The police were called to the Intercontinental Buckhead Atlanta Hotel at around 6:25 p.m. The police arrived to room 614 and found a pool of blood on the floor. Upon entering the room, they saw the body of 24-year-old Jordan Wright laying on the floor. Annmarie, who was found standing next to the bed, was reportedly screaming hysterically, but the report says that she had no visible tears. Annmarie told Atlanta police several times that the gun went off after falling from a table. It's also reported that Annmarie asked the police several times if Wright was okay or if he was dead. She then stated that she knew the victim, Jordan Wright, and grew up with him in Chicago. The police found projectile ammunition in the hotel room by the bathroom door and in the bathroom tub. That's 2 additional projectiles in addition to the one that was in the victim's body. The victim was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital, and at this time, his condition has not been released. Our final story today involves popular YouTuber BLove. If you're unfamiliar with BLove's channel, I will link her channel in the description below. She became famous for her mukbang videos, and they grew when she started inviting celebrities to join her. BLove made a video recently sharing with her viewers why she had been absent recently, and it was because her sister had been murdered. According to BLove's most recent video on her channel, her sister, Jada Young Mills, who was 27 years old, was shot and killed in Waterloo, Iowa. BLove shared with her viewers that her sister was involved in a transaction with another woman involving some hair. The client was unhappy with the quality of hair or the product itself, and BLove's sister Jada told the client that she would be happy to refund her money and make the situation better for the client. The client was not happy with that response, but that's when the conversation ended. Later that day, Jada and the unhappy client were at a mutual friend's house for a gathering. At some point, the two got into a verbal dispute, which later led to a physical altercation. According to the reports from the local news outlet, which I will link in the description below, the client named LaShonda Johnson, who was 36, left the party, went to her car to grab a gun, came back and shot Jada Young Mills. The shooting happened on November 13th, and LaShonda Johnson has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder. We send our love and prayers to BLove's family during this difficult time. I will have more updates on these cases as they develop. That's all I have for today. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell to get more updates on current cases. Follow me everywhere at JSoExtra. And if you want me to look into a story, then send me a tweet and use the hashtag J on the case so that I can easily find it. To make your $5 donation to Sewing to Sew, click the Tilify link in the description below. As always, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe.